Hey guys, Mac and Ken's here. It's the last day of week 2, and we listened to Rebecca Lyons, who's absolutely incredible, and now we are going to discuss how we can live into the things she taught us.
Yeah, it seriously was such a good week. Rebecca came with powerful punches, I feel like, of information and scripture and knowledge. I took so many notes to try to kind of process through everything we talked about.
And remember how she jumped right in too?
She jumped right in.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I love people that jump right in.
Me too.
We're not very
Speaking
good at that.
We need to do that right now.
So, what was kind of your favorite part of this week, or what was the biggest takeaway you thought you had?
Yeah, for sure. Mine, the thing that stuck with me after listening to Rebecca was she said that the curse of an orphan is self-sufficiency. Yeah. And when I heard the word self-sufficiency, it just hit me deep in my heart, because I think I just so often get self-sufficient. I rely on my own strength, my own energy, my own love, my own kindness, my own patience, and it just doesn't get me very far. And so I think that really identified with me, and I was like, gosh, I think a lot of times I'm living as an orphan, because if I was a daughter, there would be a peace that followed me, a reliance, a dependence that would follow me wherever I went. So that was the thing that really stuck with me.
Yeah, I loved that, and I think that speaks so perfectly into day 2 of this week, when we spent time on the learn portion, where we really dove into those names of God, because she talked about how if you're not living in self-sufficiency, but if you're living as a true daughter, you know that whatever belongs to your father is a part of your inheritance.
Yeah.
So I think even in the thing it talked about how if your dad's owns a Chick-fil-A, you're gonna get free Chick-fil-A forever. And it's kind of in the same way with the Lord. If our Father is a healer, we can always ask for healing. If our Father is a provider, we know that He's gonna provide for us. And I think I loved getting to study those different names of God, from the Hebrew and from the Greek, and seeing how those are things that are part of my inheritance, and those are things that God happily gives to me and offers me if I'm living into that identity as a daughter and not an orphan, because just being His kid, I have access to those things.
Yeah, that's so good. That's such a gift that we so often pass by. And I think as a way to live into this week, I just think about getting alone with God. I'm gosh, the only way that I'm gonna really identify with my Father is in scripture, and in communion with Him, talking to Him, getting to know His voice, the sound of His voice, the way He loves me, because that will reveal who I am in Him. And so I think the best way is to sit, journal,
pray, put on worship music. I think just be real. We have such a tendency. I know me. I go into my quiet time and I'm Lord, help me with my week and my work week, and I don't really sit there and let the Lord speak truth over me. So I think going into your quiet time this week, taking a couple hours this weekend, going to a quiet place and just letting God speak truth and identity over you as a daughter of His would just be an incredible practice. And I think we can do the same in our groups this week, really speaking identity over one another. I think so often God uses us to be able to speak truth about other people in our lives, and so being able to say, hey Ken, you know that you are chosen by God, that you're made perfect in His, your weaknesses are made perfect in His power, and things like that. I think being able to speak over each other really helps to secure and to lock in our identities.
One thing Rebecca mentioned that really stuck with me too, we asked her how do you know if you're living as an orphan or as a daughter, and she was it's the way you speak about yourself. Are you speaking words of life over yourself, or are you speaking just negative things? Are you stuck in the hard places of you? And so just changing your language too, noticing, recognizing the times where you are not talking good about yourself or not lifting others up, and shifting that conversation. Oh, I love what she said too. You walk in the room like you carry a freedom of Christ too, which is so sweet when you're walking as a daughter. So I'm excited for that too, for changing the atmospheres of the room in conversations when you speak life.
Yes, it's gonna be an awesome just summer as we continue stepping into this identity of being daughters of God. Thanks for joining us this week, and we cannot wait to see you next week for week 3, the halfway point of the summer series.
Wow!